hate puppies. It's a good podcast.
I feel threatened.
Insert stupid Stu comment here. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Inside the Pallet House, the only podcast dedicated to solving first world problems, regardless of how bad the world really is. Of course, I don't really have a whole lot of first world problems we're solving tonight, now that I think about it. Tonight, it's just the podcast about Thanksgiving.
And stashes.
Lots of stash action.
Yes.
I guess I have Thanksgiving on the brain because we are recording on what is supposed to be the busiest bar night of the year.
Remember this night when you were in college and right after college?
Oh,
I mean,
dude,
you
this
just
was
look
it.
forward to this night.
There's a lot of people out there who know exactly when we're recording just because we said that. They're like,
Yep.
oh, must be Wednesday just before Thanksgiving.
That's right.
That these guys are together. And how different is it that we chose to, on the biggest drinking night of the year, just, do a podcast.
Stay in.
Stay in, do a podcast.
That's right.
That's about what we got. It's a different year. I'm wondering how packed the bars are going to be tonight. I'm betting they're still packed.
I'm betting a certain age group will be packing it out.
Because this is the night, man, that you've gone off to college. You miss all your high school friends. You
Yep.
haven't seen them in forever. You come back. This is also the night where you realize a lot of things.
Yes.
Like, that dude was a dumbass.
Yep.
And my girlfriend from high school isn't that hot.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
Yep.
And a lot of girls come back and go, wow, I missed him.
Yeah. Or you come back and you've had a little success on campus and you got a little pep in your step because you realize all those years in high school were nothing. You click reset as soon as you go to college.
Nothing. It's like, hey, nerds, I'm cool now.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
That's right.
I'm out. This is a wild night. This is a night of a lot of awakenings for a lot of kids
Yep.
who come back first year of college. And also a lot of kids who never went off to college and they see everybody. And some of them are like, you know what? I'm making money.
That's right.
And they're feeling pretty damn good about themselves. They're like, oh, you can't afford a beer? I'll take care of you.
That's right.
Everyone kind of finds their level. This is
Yeah.
the beginning of finding your level.
And
Young
you go
bucks.
hard. You can go hard tonight.
You can.
There's no tomorrow morning. I mean, Thanksgiving morning is a wash.
Dude, there was one night. So my roommate in college, he my freshman year, his birthday is, if it's not today, it was yesterday because it always
changes.
Yeah, it butts up
Yeah.
right against Thanksgiving. So happy birthday, Bill! Little shout out to you. And there was one night we had come back from college. This was post college, but even still, I was in that like workaholic stage of my life. You know what I mean? Like now
That
it's
was
just
a fun time.
yeah, I got money, but nothing has changed. I'm still exactly the
You
same.
feel
dumbass.
like you have money, but you don't have money. You have a couple nickels rubbed together.
Bro, I was making $25,000 a year. Do you know how much $25,000 is? That's a shit ton of money.
You're still living with your buddies. No cares in the world other than your rent and your cable bill, and that's it.
Yeah, $25,000 goes really far.
Yep.
I mean, seriously far. I was like, I couldn't believe how much money I had.
Yeah.
I was like, I have a Jeep. I've got all this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I'm living the dream.
Going out 5 nights a week.
Yeah, got a bitchin' townhouse. It was like, look at me, dude living on my couch, throwing in a
That's
couple
right.
$100. I was
Yeah.
like, this is it. And I remember we went over. I met up with him because it was his birthday night, but it was also the Wednesday just before Thanksgiving. And I hadn't seen him in a little while. I was back in town. He was back in town. I was like, all right, we're going to catch up at this club because it's Wednesday before Thanksgiving. It is on. So we're looking good. We're dressed to the nines. We meet up. We're partying. We're doing shots. He's got all these other buddies I don't know that come over from his kickball team. And then we've got some college buddies meet us out. Then some high school buddies meet us out. You know how this goes. This becomes the greatest night ever.
Yeah.
And he's like, the club's shutting down. And he's like, hey, man, I got a spot we can go back to. He's like, we're going to go back here. I'm dating this girl.
Oh, yeah, because when the bars close, that doesn't mean the night's over in that age. No.
No, night was not over. So we decided to go back to this house because they were having a bonfire.
Oh, nice.
And it wasn't all that far from where we were. So we were like, sure, we can all drive. So everybody drives over to this bonfire. We get back to this bonfire, and it's it's on. Like, we're having a blast. And this house is just this ridiculous mansion. Like, it's fantastic. And we're out back, like, so far from the house because the yard's so big, like, you don't even feel like you're in a backyard. Yeah, I remember I had to walk past the pool, behind the pool house, past the basketball courts.
Oh, this was a legit mansion.
Yeah. And then after I passed
This
the
wasn't the
basketball,
mansion of my years, my childhood years, when I saw a house that was like 3,000 square feet.
right next
had
to
a
another
garage,
house.
and then I'm like, look at that baller.
Yeah, no, this was
This
was a
legit.
mansion that
Yeah.
had an estate behind it, you
Yeah.
know. So I remember we passed the basketball courts, went down, then I like got on this trail, kept winding the trail, and then all of a sudden, like, boom, there was this clearing, bonfire. I was like, yes. So the night takes a turn. Now it's liquor, drinks,
Yeah.
it's, you know, beers. We're going after it.
Sounds
And
like a
it's-
place moonshine would get passed around.
I remember bottles being passed
Yeah.
around. This was definitely pre-COVID. And I was like, this is the best night ever, but it's like 4:30 now, coming up on 5, and I'm just like, now I can't drive.
Yeah.
Like, I cannot
You
drive.
shouldn't have driven earlier, but now you can't.
Oh, I should have driven. I had to get to the party. How else am I going to get to the
Oh,
party,
yeah,
Troy?
that-
There's no Ubers.
Pre-Uber,
Yes.
pre-COVID. This is
Yeah.
a whole different timeline
Yeah.
we're going off
This
of
is
here.
puber. It's pre-Uber. So I go there, and I'm like, hey man, I was like, I really can't. I can't leave. And the girl's like, no problem. We have a boatload of bedrooms. I'd be glad to put you up for the night. And my buddy was staying there, so I was like, perfect. I'll just crash here.
Yeah.
I'll get up early in the
You'll
morning.
be gone at 8 in the morning anyway.
Yeah, I'm gonna get up in like 3-4 hours, skedaddle, because I gotta go do Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And so I go in this house. She's like, there's your room. I was like, thank you. I pass out, wake up a couple hours later, and I'm like, all right, I don't know where I am.
Yeah.
I'm in this house. I'm not exactly sure what my next move is. But if there's one thing I had a lot of, it was just arrogance. I was like, I can do this. Like, I'm confident. So I get up. I'm literally in my underwear. I go walking out of the room because I'm like, I know my buddy's on this hall somewhere.
Yeah.
And I'm walking out in the hall just in my underwear. And the guy who owns the house is right
Oh,
there.
no.
I didn't know this at the time, but the reason this house was so badass is this dude was either the main dude or one of the main dudes at Salesforce.com. Like,
At what?
Salesforce.com.
I don't know what Salesforce.com
Oh,
is.
you've lived a charmed life if you don't have to deal with Salesforce. As a sales guy, and anybody who's in sales, they all have to use Salesforce.
Okay.
And any company that's constantly trying to figure out where their dollars are and when the next deal's coming in,
So he's a bigwig is what you're saying.
of one of the largest software companies.
That's
in
better
the
than
world.
like being like head at Remington. Like you're Smith and Wesson.
True, it's
Like,
software. It's
Okay, so
software.
I'm like, you're going a different route. I thought you were going to be like, he was co-owner of UFC.
No,
Like,
I just remember I'm walking out, and all of a sudden, like, I'm face to face at 8 in the morning in my underwear, like a dumbass.
Yeah.
And I'm just looking at this guy, and I'm like, hi.
hi, sir.
And he's like, I'm so and so. And he like reaches out to shake my hand. So now I'm shaking hands with this guy half naked in his house, reeking of booze.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm Brendan. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Sir.
Yeah, it's like totally screwed this up. And then he's like, well, I guess I'll see you at breakfast. And I'm like, oh, fuck me. Like, what is happening?
You just wanted to shrink down to a fucking...
Staggered down the
Yeah.
stairs. Or put on clothes.
Yeah, that's a good start.
Went down the stairs, found my buddy, found his girlfriend, and ended up having to sit there and have coffee with this guy and talk to him. And, like, I'm chatting him up. And it's like, this is the company that if I would have desperately wanted to work for. And I'm just thinking to myself, you've blown it.
Yeah.
You've absolutely blown it. And I don't remember how it went
When
down.
you first meet the owner of a large company and you're in your drawers, not usually a good start.
It wasn't the start I was looking for. Basically, I slinked out of there as soon as I could.
He's probably thinking you're up to no good. You're sliding around his hallways.
I think I think my buddy told him that I was gay to kind of throw off the scent of like
And
because
he
this
could
dude.
easy follow that logic.
I think that he met the underwear guy in the hallway, and he was like, "Okay, that adds up." Like, and I think
that guy was shredded, so he must be.
Yeah, like, so because the guy had nothing but daughters,
Yeah.
and they were all gorgeous, and so it's a house full of women, and then my buddy who is been with this girl for years. So like,
where was he sleeping?
In her room.
Oh, he was that cool?
Which was known. Yeah. That was a known commodity.
That's a weird.
It is a little bit weird.
I mean, I don't have daughters, but I don't know what age.
I mean, we're in our 20s.
Cool. Yeah.
So I think it's known. And he'd been in the family.
Yeah, he'd been around for years.
You know what I mean? But so like, I'm pretty sure that's what my buddy told him, if I remember, like, because I remember it was all awkward. He's like, "Nah, I took care of it." And I'm like, "How so?" And he's like, "I told him you were gay." And he was like, I was like, "Thanks." And he's like, no, it's cool because you weren't a threat. And that's why he was so nice to you by the time breakfast came around. Because he was really awkward in the hallway. Like, what are you up to? By the time I got downstairs to have breakfast.
Yeah, it looks like you're sliding into or out of one of those rooms. Like,
yeah, he thought I was up
if
to
you
no
were
good.
if you had gotten dressed like a normal human being.
This was my buddy's brilliant move, and it worked because the guy was like, "Have some coffee, enjoy," like totally threw him off the trail. But that was a weird morning. Not how I expected to spend or start Thanksgiving.
But one you will never forget.
I'm sure I forgot many of the moments of that story. But it was it was a fun night.
Yeah.
And it's the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. You can't go wrong with that particular day. I mean, this is the biggest party night of the year.
Even if you like don't go anywhere or you stay in town, like, I mean, I went to college in the adjacent to where I grew up, but like it's still a good time. Like, it's just if you're working, everybody's off, it's perfect. It's a perfect party night.
It is. You know who's probably not partying too much this night?
Who?
The Duke.
The Duke. Oh,
don't you think by now he's sick?
I don't. I think the Duke is. So we need to actually. We've mentioned it. We are recording 2 days later than usual, so we will be. Is this update number? This will be the third full week in, right?
He's entered into the third week, or he's past the second week.
We are.
You know who would know this answer? The Duke.
He started on the second, so he's done 1, 2, 3 weeks and 2 days now.
All right, so he's sick.
I think the man is doing great.
He won't answer. To those that are joining us late, the Duke is quite the challenge. It's significant first world problem we're solving. Is do you really have to refrigerate mayonnaise? And the Duke said that he could never refrigerate mayonnaise and would eat it just fine. And he's now...
We're breaking down big mayo, big condiments, big refrigerators.
We're getting down to it. We don't buy this nonsense. No. So he's had this mayonnaise. He's been having at least a tablespoon a day.
Counter mayonnaise. Of
counter mayonnaise. Just warm mayonnaise. So room far temp. To no effect. I'm dying to know. I'm dying to know where we stand. Got to turn it up. Look at this, though. Producing in real time. He's dead. He's not there.
Next call will be 911.
That's not a good sign. The Duke always answers.
This is the Duke.
Oh, he's alive.
Holy cow.
It rang 3 times. I thought
you were dead. 3 or 4
dead.
times.
I thought you were a dead man.
Why would I be a dead man? I'm on day 23, living strong.
Exactly.
No, you are not. You can't be living strong. Last week you went 9-0. You had 9 holes, 0 looses. What's your record this week?
10-1. 10-1.
Killing it.
Unbelievable.
Killing it. He's getting stronger.
He's back to control standards.
Do we have any theory on the one loss?
Absolutely. I hung out with Brendan.
I think there's a correlation here. It's not the mayo that'll wreck your guts. It's Brendan. Hanging out with Brendan.
Who stays up past midnight pretty much every day of their life?
Yep.
What? No. I mean, maybe.
And drinking and eating.
Yeah.
Last night was a school night, and I sat up watching some Grateful Dead documentary.
Exactly.
I watched 4
till 1 a.m.
Yeah, it was. It was till 1 a.m.
Yep.
And I told myself I wouldn't watch any more at midnight. I was like, I'm going to bed. And then the next one started, and I stood in front of the TV. And I watched another hour standing. And I was sober as a judge. Just like, I'm staying up.
So, Troy, you understand where I'm at.
Oh, yeah.
The correlation, honestly, is L's Brendan.
Yep. I would agree with you, Duke. Like, I've had the pleasure or displeasure of hanging with him late into the night, and he's cut from a different cloth. That is for sure.
I don't get it. I don't understand the correlation here. But I do know if I look back, Control Week, if I look at Control Week, it was 11-2, and we did hang out on that Saturday.
Yeah.
And then you had 2 L's on Sunday. The next week you went 8-2. We hung out on Saturday. You had 2 L's on Sunday. The following week I did not see you. You went 9-0.
Yeah.
This past week I did hang out with
That
you.
was
You
the
went
camp.
10-1.
Yeah.
Huh.
Interesting, isn't it?
I don't believe so. I don't see the correlation, but I think we need more data. I think we need more data.
How are you doing on the amount of product you have left? You started off with 18 ounces. I know you've been working through it.
So the product it's getting low. I made a breakfast sandwich this morning.
Gross.
And I made, mayonnaise on that egg and sausage sandwich, loaded it up with a bunch of mayonnaise. And we started squirting a little air. So I could see it finishing in the next 2 days is what I'm thinking.
Wow.
This is unbelievable.
This is crazy.
I wouldn't say I'm rooting against you, but I'm rooting for the mayonnaise. Like, there has to be some ramifications to eating an entire jar of mayonnaise without any refrigeration. And yet, here we are.
23 days in. So, Duke, we mentioned in the past a little bit of separation, a little bit of oil, still holding strong.
It's tangy.
It's tangy.
There's tangy. But you know what? The tanginess doesn't come out when you put it on a sandwich so much. The tanginess is really when you do like a tablespoon of just raw mayonnaise.
Well, and who does that other than the Duke?
It is foul, man. But so it's not even to the point now where like it's making a sandwich taste bad. It's still just not great. Like if you take a tablespoon.
The sandwich tastes great. A tablespoon compared to a cold tablespoon of mayonnaise, there's a slight difference. There's a slight, it's like almost like having horseradish versus mayonnaise. So
good.
Some people probably like that tang. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it gives a little more spice.
So, Duke, on a different subject, we were talking about, we're recording this on what used to be the biggest night of partying ever, the night before Thanksgiving. Do you have any stories of when you were a younger Duke and you would go out and just stay up partying all night, just eating all sorts of mayonnaise?
Yeah, he would just be freebasing mayonnaise on the night before Thanksgiving. Wild.
I mean, the night before Thanksgiving, I think, is the greatest party night of the year, honestly.
Yep. Yeah.
I think there's nothing better than the night before Thanksgiving. You go back home to wherever you're from, you get with the fellas, and late night, you smother your eggs or whatever it is in Duke's mayonnaise. It might be a turkey sandwich. It might be an egg sandwich. You might be at Bob and Edith's in Arlington, and you want that mayo on there.
I love he's all in. He's all in on mayo.
Love it.
Even on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, it's a mayo night. That's a big
Oh,
night.
Always
absolutely.
a mayo night.
This is crazy that you're doing as well as you are, man. I got to be honest.
Let the record show I never doubted you, Duke. I always believed in you. I knew Big Mayo and Big Refrigeration was full of lies.
Bullshit. Yeah, Troy, you're a believer. Brendan was questioning the ability of the Duke, but you were a believer, and I believe in you for that.
Thank you, sir. And I mean, this was your theory. You two started it, and I mean, I agree with you.
And it started because I saw ranch that had been out for a mere couple hours, and was like, "We're gonna have to throw that out." And he was like, "You bitch, we'll put it in we'll put it in the fridge. No one will know any different."
Yeah, at 2 a.m., Brendan was scared, and I said, "We will not put that in the fridge."
What would your great-grandfather think of you, Brendan?
My great-grandfather invented the refrigerator. He'd be furious.
He fought in World War II, and he was like, Brendan's a pussy.
Yeah, there's probably some of that, too.
Grandpappy, that ranch has been out for 2 hours. Let's throw it away. He just backhand you across the room.
Yeah, I've been in a trench for 3 days. I've got trench foot. I don't care about the mayonnaise.
I worked 4 days to afford this mayonnaise. Shut up and eat it.
Exactly. So you're still going strong. You think you only have 2 more days of this, huh? That's your official.
I mean,
tally?
I can make it last a little longer, but you know what? I just like that mayonnaise on, like late night tomorrow.
Yeah.
Get that turkey sandwich. We'll see what happens. I mean, I could do it. I could do the whole mayonnaise down the gullet, and just squeeze it in my mouth too.
Don't mess up your way here, Duke. You have your skill set and keep going. Don't skew the science here.
Yeah, the Duke has a formula. You deviate from the formula, you're liable to get sick.
Yeah.
At this point now, I'm starting to think it is the formula that's keeping you safe.
I'm safe as can be. I'm not even worried about it. That mayonnaise to me is just delicious.
Family update? What are their thoughts?
The wife being more supportive?
The wife hasn't thrown it away. Let's be honest. The boys think it's amazing. They realize
boys are awesome for that.
Boys realize like, hey, the milk says, it's 3 or 4 days old. Hey, it's not chunky. Drink it.
Well, you can't say this anymore, but boys will be boys, and it is amazing. Like
canceled.
I know.
Canceled.
But like being a dude, like we love the idea that you're doing this, and your boys love the idea. But being a dude, we would love it if it turned too. Like it's a win-win. Like drink that milk. If you think that milk is old, I want to watch you drink it, and if it's good, you're awesome for drinking it, and if it's spoiled, that's hilarious.
It's actually better.
Yeah.
It's a bigger win. And it is true, though, that guys have enjoyed this. Like, I've had more guys reach out to me and be like, this is great. I haven't heard from a single woman going, this is awesome.
Oh, yeah.
I love that this guy's eating month-old mayonnaise from the countertop. It does seem like there is a break there.
Yeah, it's like when guys make bets, they always have to have or do anything. It's like you have a bunch of good outcomes, but you gotta have a bad one there just to spice it up a little bit.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Not the Duke. The Duke is steady Eddie.
That's right.
Man, I'm impressed. I'm impressed.
The boys are learning. You got to push the limits a little bit. You can't just always play by the rules.
Yeah, just because the freaking stupid ink on the side of the container says it's bad doesn't mean it's bad.
It doesn't. You got to do a taste test. Taste test is the key.
But the taste is tangy, and gross, and oily, and separating.
Yeah, but that's okay. A little vinegar tastes good. What do you eat your barbecue with? A little bit of vinegar.
Well, here's a question for you. So my wife was cleaning out our fridge tonight and prepping for tomorrow's festivities, and we pulled out some condiments that were over 2 years old.
No, that's too much.
Yeah, that's definitely too much, right, Duke?
Is it?
It's refrigerated, Troy. It's probably okay.
Okay. Duke, I think I'm going to buy some mayonnaise and store it for 2 years.
I mean, taste test is the way I roll. Yeah. I mean, it's like bacon. I've had bacon in the fridge for 3 weeks. My wife's like, are you going to eat that? I was like, babe, that's been in a smokehouse before it got here. Of course I'm going to eat it.
That's true, though.
That makes sense.
I tend to agree. If you don't see visible mold.
Well, if you find a half-open jar of salsa that's 2.5 years old, I'm not really going to taste test that.
I'm a big smell test guy.
Yeah.
If the smell is off, I'm out. But
that's fair. That's fair. I mean,
what does your mayonnaise smell like?
Honestly, I haven't smelled it. I just keep eating it.
Next week, you're going to have to let us know how it smells because it's going to be done by next week, right?
It's going to be done in 2 days.
It could be done, in 2 days. It could be done. Like it was.
It won't make it past this weekend.
It was pumping some air this morning.
Oh, the fart sound coming out of that jar. The 23-day-old lukewarm mayonnaise has got to be. It's got to be an amazing sound.
But hey, if you bet on me, you're winning.
Ooh, your confidence is borderline insanity.
Dude, I mean, he's at mile.
Wouldn't that have been a great bet? Troy would have been winning right now.
That's right.
He bet on me from day one.
That's right.
And I respect that, Troy. You put all your money on the table and you said he's going to do it.
I knew you would,
yes,
dude.
I am.
He's not being overconfident. He's in mile 25 of the 26.2 in the marathon. I mean, he's there. Like, he can see the finish line.
Yeah, but I've also seen a dude 100 yards from the end start shitting all over himself and keel over in a pile of Duke.
Okay, I should have gone 100-yard dash because that is a bad reference.
Because we've all seen it. The guy's going, all of a sudden the shit goes down his leg and he collapses.
Well, it's not just one guy that's done that.
It's to many a dude.
But do they quit? I'm not a quitter like that.
I love it.
I believe in you.
Well,
He's going to finish it.
We're going to check in next week. Hey, how's the mustache growing going?
The mustache looks amazing. I'm still raising funds.
You've raised a ton of money, dude. You're awesome. You're killing it.
I believe in this, and people out there, we need to keep on raising. Got a week and a half left, and I'm keeping on pushing hard, get money out there for everybody. I believe in it, man.
I love it, man. You're doing the Lord's work when it comes to raising money for the kids, and you're doing, just dude work when it comes to the mayonnaise. So I'm
doing science. I'm doing science.
Oh, yeah, you're like Bill Nye.
Pretty much the same guy. Mr. Wizard over here.
Well, Duke, we'll be checking in next week for the final
countdown,
the final update. Godspeed, my friend. And if I don't get a chance to talk to you, man, happy Thanksgiving to you and the fam.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving to you guys. And I feel like there's definitely going to be some warm mayo on the bird tomorrow.
I'll be thinking of you when I'm eating my turkey tomorrow, Duke.
I will not.
All right, fellas. Well, I look forward to checking in next week.
Yep, appreciate you taking
the time. All right,
dude.
Take care.
All right, buddy.
All right, guys.
Later.
He's alive.
Dude, and he's thriving. He's not surviving, he's thriving.
He is thriving. This is amazing. And during all of this, he's raising money for the kids, man. I think that can't be understated.
No.
Like he's staying the course, and I think that's awesome. We've been looking good with these mustaches, kind of. But look, the entire M4K program, for anyone who hasn't heard what we're doing, where the hell have you been?
Yeah.
But we're participating in growing a mustache for charity with our organization here in Richmond called M4K Richmond. It's m4krichmond.org, and we're growing mustaches to raise money for children's charities here in the area. And the more and more I think about it this year as we're going through it, I know we'd said it week one, and we've probably said it again since, but this year's critical, man.
Seriously.
Like, everybody's dealing with COVID. Everybody's jobs have been affected. Their livelihoods been affected. Well, kids, they still have illness. They still need to be going to the children's hospital. They still need care.
Still need to get fed.
They still Feed More is still out there helping the kids eat.
Probably more so in a lot of ways for a lot of these charities than normal. I mean, you got to think if it's been a rough year for the quote unquote successful people, the people that don't have these problems. What's it like for the people that are going through these problems? They're going to be.
And think about a charity like SCAN, Stop Child Abuse Now. In these kinds of pressure, adults don't always handle that very well.
No, we do not.
Losing a job or drinking far more than you used to. These are the kinds of things that ultimately can lead to accelerated amounts of child abuse, God forbid. And now is not the time to let your foot off the gas for helping these charities, especially like SCAN or Feed More or the Children's Hospital of Richmond. I mean, it's a critical time.
It is
to be helping out, and I'm proud of all the guys that are growing this year. It's been a more difficult year because we can't do the weekly check-ins.
The meetups are the fun part. They really
are. And the guys who are running M4K,
great group of dudes.
Man, they have been trying so hard to keep everybody engaged virtually, and I know how hard that is because I've tried to host happy hours and things like that over Zoom, and it's not an easy task.
They've been killing it though. They really have, man. Like, it's been more engaging on some levels than in years previous.
It's true, but it hasn't gone unnoticed, is what I'm saying to the guys if they are listening. I mean, you guys are crushing it. It's awesome. And I'm just proud of everybody who's been growing and staying the course, because we need it more now than ever, these children's charities. So if you haven't had a chance to head over to m4krichmond.org, please do so. Check out the charities we're growing for. See some of the guys. You'll see some. You can even see the character of some of these guys just looking at them. I mean, there's some funny stuff, guys who truly care. If you find the Inside the Pallet House page, you can go and you can find all the guys that are growing on our team. You can donate to any one of us. We've said it before. This is the month we do not want to see any money come in over the Venmo account.
Nope.
If you want to dedicate any money to the podcast, please just head over to m4krichmond.org and donate money to the children's charities. They could certainly use the help, and this is it's a more important year than really any other year.
Yep.
I think.
And shout out to young Jimmy who made a donation to me. He's not on social media. I usually thank all my people on social media, but I did notice your very generous donation, young Jimmy.
Yeah, he came.
One of our P1 listeners, great guy, all around dude. So thank you.
He came through to helping out all the guys on the podcast. I thought that was really stand-up move. So it didn't go unnoticed, Jimmy. Thank you so much, man. And the other Jimmy over at Screen Door Mortgage hit up everyone on the podcast too. So it's oh, you got left.
No.
Well, some of the guys.
Yeah, maybe some of the guys.
Well, it was still a big donation. So it's been.
That's
good
why I go to
see.
Glassdoor Mortgage. That's what I do.
No, you do not. You go to Screen Door Mortgage. Damn it, you son of a bitch. No,
Hey,
it's.
You know what has kind of gone unnoticed? We haven't talked about the elephant not in the room here tonight.
Stu? Is that what you're talking
Well, I mean, it's just you and me tonight. It's just we're doing an old school podcast.
It is. It's a old school podcast tonight. We had to. We gave Stu the week off
Because
Stu. Well, Stu's been enjoying the shit out of himself.
Stu's had a good time.
I don't blame the guy. Like, he's out there having fun,
Yeah.
but he did spend the week in Nashville partying it up and having a blast. And look, I don't blame him. And if the only negative that comes from him is you miss 1 week of the podcast,
Good on you.
Godspeed, dude.
Yep.
Because it looked like he had a damn good time.
Yeah.
He was sending me clips of people. He's like, we need to get this dude on the podcast. And then, like, the next day, it's like, or this dude on the podcast. And I'm like, yeah, you're in the land of talent.
Yeah,
everybody
like
there
every
is
bar.
brilliantly talented.
I've never even been there, and I understand that, like, you can go to, like, the smallest place on Broadway
Dude.
at lunch on a Wednesday and see, like, the most talented live singer you've ever seen.
And you're like, how did this guy end up
Yeah.
here and not
Playing in front of 20 people or something.
Yeah,
Like,
and not, at the Grand Ole Opry, making $1 million, because there's way too much talent in that town. It looked like Stu had a blast for sure.
we miss you, Stu. We're just busting your chops.
We are, but I mean, I figure, look, this is the time of year, like, things are not going great.
Yeah.
With the COVID bullshit. And he got to travel all over and got to go to a lot of bars. I think, look, you take 1 week off, just make sure
Yep.
you're in the clear. He will be. I hope so.
Yeah.
But I figure 1 week off doesn't hurt anybody, especially as we're about to all see people for Thanksgiving. Or I guess we're not. We shut down over here, which sucks. So I have a litany of Zoom calls tomorrow for Thanksgiving.
Oh, that's brutal.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. And it's like every one of them was like, "Yeah, I'll have a drink with you," and I'm like, "Boy, that's a lot of drinks." I'm gonna be like the bad.
You didn't
uncle.
think, I've been prepping for this my whole life.
Training. Speaking of, dude, I've got a deli in there that I would love to try.
We got 2 delis tonight, so we doing yours first?
I would like to start with the
Okay.
the Budweiser Nitro Gold. This thing has been hyped up. Now, as we know, there is no finer American lager than a Budweiser. We've learned this the hard way because we did the taste test and we found out that it was the best. Now, look, Troy, these have to actually be poured into a cup or a glass because I read the side of it. This is what concerns me about this beer. It literally says to flip the can upside down 3 times.
On the side, it says Nitro Pour Tutor. Flip can 3 times, open and pour hard, and then wait for it. Now, truth be told,
How many beers tell you to shake them up
I know.
beforehand? I shook mine about 7-8 times because I'm nervous.
I have
about
been looking for this beer because when I saw
Oh,
this,
Okay,
it really sounded interesting to me.
Budweiser Nitro Reserve Gold. What's more American than this? Pour it hard. Pour hard.
Pour hard. It's
All right.
gurgling.
Yeah.
Then it says wait for it, so I think we're going to have to wait and let it settle down.
Oh, give it a second? Okay.
That's what the pour tutor says on it.
The fact that Budweiser is going out of their way to make people read when their demo can't read,
Or
you
has
know
no
it's
interest in
important.
it.
Yeah, you
It's
know
an
it's
interesting
important.
can because everybody's very familiar with the red and white can of Budweiser.
This looks like something you'd be handed in a Wild West bar.
It does. It's mostly red and a lot of gold script on it, and then Budweiser in white. It says extra smooth golden lager. Do we know any of the stats on this thing, Brennan? Let me see if I can.
Yeah, I got some stats now. I've had my first sip.
167 calories, 15.7 carbs.
What? Okay. Have they still Beechwood aged it?
I can only hope so. 5% alcohol. Now, when the reason I was looking for this was I love nitro beers, and I think you love nitro beers.
Yeah, there's something about the smoothness. Well, I'm a Guinness guy, so
Yeah.
that smoothness, carries
You and me
over.
both.
So, I'm anticipating this is going to be an amazing beer. I mean, it is Budweiser,
I mean, Budweiser, come on.
and they've mixed it with nitro. So, you're taking a positive.
What's the nose you're getting on this thing?
Let me see here.
Not getting much of anything.
Disappointment. Hints of disappointment. The nitro feels good in the mustache. I'll give it that. What do you get your first sip there? What's your
First sip.
initial reaction, positive or negative? That's all I want to know so far. Just first sip.
Neutral.
Yeah.
It's very neutral.
So far, this beer has been neutral.
Maybe the nitro, it's pretty smooth, and I think it's mellowed out the effervescence of it all, the carbonation. It seems very flat,
Full on.
and maybe and it's just weird seeing in a nitro lager.
Yeah, I've had a handful of sips now. I think I've already kind of made up my mind on this beer. So, a big part of what makes Budweiser is the effervescence.
Yeah.
It's a super bubbly beer, yet it still manages to be smooth and a little bit malty.
Yeah.
And I'm not look, anything that falls in that American lager category is trash. So you're kind of just working through a
Yeah.
different lens. But Budweiser's the best of all of them. At least that's what I learned when we did the American Lager Challenge. It's full blown flat,
Yeah.
and I can't taste.
We
any.
shook it 6-8 times each and poured it. Literally, we cracked it,
Yeah.
turned it completely upside down and poured it. It gurgled out into a cup, and it's flat.
Full blown. I can assure you that the Budweiser fan base is going to hate this beer
Yes.
because it tastes flat. And a nitro beer should at least still have some effervescence, a little
Yeah.
something going on. This has nothing. I notice no widget in the bottom.
Yeah.
This isn't a true. This has just nitrogen in it. Now, like if you go to your brewery and they have a nitro beer and you hand them a growler, they will tell you, "Sorry, we can't put that in the growler because the nitro won't translate." That is why Guinness has to put the widget in the bottom of there to release the nitro
Yep.
and to put effervescence back into it at the moment of pour. This doesn't have that widget, and it's missing it big time.
Very much so.
Because it is flat, regardless of all the turning over and all the stuff. The flavor on it, it's got a little bit of malt. That's about it.
I'm telling you right now, like, this beer doesn't taste bad.
Doesn't taste bad at all.
This beer, if the head brewer of Budweiser walked in right now and said, "Hey guys, I got a little secret for you. This is just our flat Budweiser,"
I wouldn't be shocked.
I would be like, "Well, that checks out."
Yeah.
Like, to me, that's what it tastes like. The flavors aren't bad. It is smooth, but is it any more smooth than a flat Budweiser would be? Probably a little bit smoother.
If
than
I was
flat
at a
Budweiser.
bar and they had this on nitro and they're pouring it from the draft, I'd be willing to give it another shot. I will never pick this up again.
No.
I do not like this beer. The flavor on it is lacking. It almost feels like regular Budweiser has more flavor, which should be a major red flag from the get-go.
Yeah.
Budweiser's Budweiser.
Maybe this is for beer drinkers who don't like beer.
This is something like you pour it out for your homies. Like, you should never be put in your mouth.
It's not that bad.
No, that's why I'm going to give it a 2.5.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to give it 2.5 because to me it's.
But it's not offensive.
It's
not good.
It's the equal side. Like, it's not negative and it's not positive. It is just blah.
It's like riding a moped.
Exact. Well, moped might be more fun than drinking one of these.
That's saying something. Because, like, if you had a motorcycle and you drive a moped, you're like, yeah, I mean, it still goes, but it's not awesome.
If you were like, hey, Troy, do you want another one of these Nitro Budweisers?
No.
Or do you want to take my mini bike out on the street right now? I'd
Mini
be like,
bike.
let's jump on the mini bike. I'll be on back first.
This is like Hunt Brothers Pizza.
Oh, God. We going in on that one again?
I'm giving it a 2.5, but I am edging towards 2 because I will never pick it up again.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I'm sure this is extra. I'm sure you paid extra for this.
I did.
Yeah.
More than a but I'll never buy that again.
Yeah.
That's crap. That beer can go fuck itself. That's my official
That's
review.
just shame. I really wanted to like this beer because I do like nitros. You get a good nitro, but I'm again thinking the lager is nitro. Are there a lot of nitro lagers out there? I'm very confused. Like,
No.
yeah,
No, I mean, that's the thing. There's not.
it's usually stouts, and they work better together. Well, I appreciate you finding this and bringing it in for the deli, but
It's not super,
no.
unfortunately. Not super psyched about this. You know what this reminds me of? All right, I got a perfect example, like a moment in time that just happened to me. So I went out and I got a haircut the other day, yesterday. And I've noticed in this whole COVID thing, like at first I just grew my hair out ridiculously long and it looked horrible. And I was like, but it was still like, fuck it.
Yeah.
I don't have to see anybody. But then all of a sudden all the Zoom calls started for work and it's like, I really don't look presentable. So I've been trying to figure out how to like get my hair cut but get it cut less. So I've just been smoking the sides.
Yeah.
Like just smoke it. Let the top grow, smoke the sides.
Well,
And-
guys like you and me need to do that. We got to keep a little length on top.
Yeah. Got to look like I have hair.
Yeah.
So smoke the sides, right? And that allows me to like go a month between haircuts, which works.
Because that's when I look the worst when the neck and all that starts to get bad.
Scraggly look. So I went to the barber yesterday and I was like, you know what? Like, I want everything on the top. Finally, I want you to trim it because it's long. So, like, just trim up the top some, but I still want long hair on the top, but smoke the sides. Like, let's see how this goes, but don't touch anything on that top. And I came home thinking, all right, I probably look like a badass. I had forgotten, and of course, my barber doesn't see I'm wearing a mask, so he doesn't know that I have a mustache.
Oh, yeah.
So he's not thinking, I'm going to make this dude look like an asshole. I wasn't even thinking about it either. I was like, I'm going to look sweet.
Yeah.
So he cuts the sides up, and I'm like, hell yeah. And I leave, take off my mask, drive home, walk in the door, and my hair is soaking wet. And it's like, kind of like plastered to my head.
Uh-huh.
Sides are smoked, mustache, walk in. And I'm like, hey, baby, how you doing? Talking to the wife. And she's like, what is this? And I was like, what is what? She goes, you look like Hitler.
No way.
I was like, whoa, no. I was like, I do not. My mustache not only comes to the corners, but it goes down just a hair.
Yeah, it goes around the corners.
It is the furthest thing from that. And she's like, with the side of your head smoked like that, and your hair's all wet and dark and plastered down, she's like, go look in the mirror and tell me you don't.
I wish you'd taken a picture because even as you tell me this story, I can't see it. Like, to me, you don't. I mean, yes, your hair doesn't look like that.
Thank you, Troy. I appreciate that. But in the moment when I looked in there, I was like, oh, shit. I kind of see what she's getting at. Like, this is not a good look for me. I hadn't thought. That's how I feel about this beer. Here I thought I was going to be all badass. I'd smoked the side of my hair. I got long hair on top, short on the sides. Got this cool mustache. I'm going to be badass.
Yeah, you're thinking
just like
you look.
Budweiser Nitro is going to be badass. And then I walk in, and it's like, ew, it's totally flat, which is exactly how my hair was. So then I decided I ran upstairs.
I love when you get a haircut and your wife's disgusted.
disgusted.
Yeah.
She was like, well, keep your zipper up. I was like, thank you.
You're sleeping in jeans for next week.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
So I ran upstairs and I immediately like poofed.
You're finishing this beer though, right?
Yeah. It's,
Okay.
it's 2.5.
We're adults.
Two and a half. So I poofed my hair all up and was like, all right, that's better.
Get a little volume to it.
I look just like Arthur Shelby from Peaky Blinders.
That's a good look.
Like, at least it's a tough look.
Yeah.
But it's like still little too proud boy for my
You'd
taste
rather
with the
look.
mustache.
You'd rather look more like Tommy Shelby.
Yeah, like a badass.
Yeah.
But I forgot I had the mustache, and so the smoked sides with the long hair and a mustache, that's a bit of an awkward look. And that's what this Budweiser is. This is a smoked sides with a mustache.
It makes me wonder, like, Budweiser, what are you doing? Like, you're still Budweiser, right? Like,
They should be. They had the ugly sweater mix, the Bud Light
and
Seltzer.
we like those.
Dude, I went to Total Wine today to pick it up.
Can't find them, can you?
Dude, I've been looking everywhere. Can't find them.
Yeah.
I finally asked. She's like, you find everything? And I was like, everything but the Bud Light ugly sweater mix. She goes, yeah, those sold out really quickly. And I was like, well, are you getting any more? She goes, actually, we had a shipment due today. Distributor's out.
Wow.
I was like, oh, no. I was like, are they making more? She was like, I don't know. So if you see them out there, pick them up because they're awesome.
Speaking of distributors, did you see? Have we talked about that they're bringing Bell's back?
Oh, it's back. It's in every store. I have a bunch here now.
Nice.
We are back. It's beautiful.
That didn't last too long. I guess somebody was like, "Oh shit, we really dropped the ball."
That
here."
was 2 years.
Was it 2 years?
2 years.
Oh
that
wow,
it was
didn't
gone.
seem that long.
Yeah, it doesn't. But the last year has been a wash.
Yeah.
And that first year was tough. So,
Has this last year been long or short?
it's like my hair, dude. It's been long in some places and short in
That's
others.
right.
So
I think your hair looks good. I can't mock it because that's the cut I get now. Like, keep it a little long on top,
yeah.
scissor cut it on top, and buzz the sides.
Speaking of, I want to do a throwback. There's somebody we haven't talked to in about 2 years.
It's been that long?
I would think so.
Wow.
And he used to be a regular on the show, but in the Thanksgiving spirit, I want to holler at somebody. I'm going to call him. I'm going to see if we can get our guy on the line. I wonder how many of the listeners will know exactly who this is when he picks up.
Do the Pallet House.
Yes.
What's up?
Yeah, they know from that doofy laugh right there.
Fuck. Did it give it away? Shit.
I love that laugh. I love
missed
that laugh.
We got Double J, Jason Jones. We haven't talked to you in forever, man, and we were thinking about it today. You were on the show for like 3 years. You were a regular.
Was it that long? 3 years. Shit. Y'all are in like year 5 now, right? Or 6?
Coming up on 6, yeah.
And you helped us put together the year 1 best of, and then
Yes. That was a lot of fun. And a lot of not fun too. It was like all rolled in one. It's like finishing it was great, but God, it was a lot of listening to hours upon hours, but well worth it.
That's amazing.
I love it. I loved your attitude though. And so we were thinking about it, man. It's like Thanksgiving's coming, it's tomorrow, and it's like, what are you thankful for? And like you start reminiscing, and I was like, damn, man, I miss Jason.
I miss him too, man.
Oh my God. I appreciate you guys. I miss you guys like fucking crazy, man. I definitely do.
We need to get down
such
there.
good laughs. Yeah. Yeah, you need to get down here. Well, I was joking with Kennedy. Apparently he gets down to South Carolina like every other week.
Yeah.
Just,
Well,
not,
I
to the,
used to.
just not to the western part.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
a big state.
Yeah, those trips have slowed down, but I did have a hot time in the summer though, where I was down in South Carolina a good bit.
No offense to Double J, but I got a dad and stepmom down there that I haven't gone to see in years. So
You'd have to do that.
I'd have to do that first.
Yeah. No, I understand, but on the way back, you can stop by or way down. You guys are always welcome for sure, anytime. And
Right.
I think the last time actually we caught up, Kennedy, was maybe in Asheville, I believe, like back before, all this stuff was going on where we couldn't travel and, had all these restrictions. But
That was a good time. Young Jimmy, you and I all got to hang out and threw down over at the I can't even remember which brewery that was.
That's a good
It was the
crew.
Sierra Nevada brewery.
we actually went to Sierra Nevada and we actually went to Wicked Weed too, which I'm actually drinking a Wicked Weed Appalachia session IPA.
Nice.
the Appalachia. That one we have we've actually tested that beer. It did pretty well. I don't think it won a deli if I remember correctly. But that was actually one that was brought to us by the Abacus.
The
So
Wicked Weed's
shout
a
out to the
hard.
Abacus.
The Wicked Weed's a hard one to get everyone to fall in love with.
Well, they do. They love doing the hop thing, and so you're either in or you're out. But
It's either that or their Funkatorium, like where they have all those crazy brews. I don't know if you've had anything.
Yeah,
out there.
that's some of my favorite stuff. They get all weird with it. They start like infusing it.
Let's get weird.
Yeah, I like it. Now, Jason, you've had an interesting couple years, man, since we've been on here. Now, people don't know this, and I haven't prepped you, so you probably don't know what I'm about to talk about.
I have no idea.
but you actually had a pretty sketchy accident this past year, and I feel like we could talk about it because you're doing very well. But
yeah, oh my God, yeah. I know people say like 2020 has been bad, but like for me, 2019 was pretty bad towards the end. It was like just a run of different things, like kids going to the hospital, and then my in-laws' house burning down, and then what you're talking about is I actually took a fireball to the face.
Like literally,
Man.
Literally, gasoline was involved, and it wasn't my best moment, but I sustained some second-degree burns, first and second-degree burns. Thankfully, it wasn't worse, but I actually had to get a couple skin tissue transplants on my neck and my hand from an actual cadaver. They actually take cadaver skin and put it on you.
Wow.
But that's coming up on it'll be a year, December 11th that happened. But I swear to God, you wouldn't be able to tell.
Dude, you're so handsome as shit.
That's what's so crazy. He looks good, man, and I'm happy for you because after that happened, I didn't know if we wanted to address it too much. I think we may have brought it up briefly on the show, but we didn't want to kind of get into it because it was a little touch and go for a bit there. But dude, you look great. I can't believe that it went as well as it did, man. So I'm really happy for you, man. It sounds like 2020's actually been an uptick for you. So so maybe
no, I know, man. It's fucked up, but it's
I mean,
kind of true.
Talk about a perfect way to for a Thanksgiving show to at least call someone that maybe 2020's treated you a little bit better.
Hey,
I mean, honestly, it's been really good. I mean, as far as like my work and everything like that, I've been able to keep going and just keep moving on. And I'm just so thankful that this all healed up and it wasn't worse. It didn't go down in my lungs, and there was just so many things. But it was one of the scariest moments for sure that I've ever experienced.
See, we're sending a little positivity out there on Thanksgiving.
Talking with Jason again just reminds me why I miss him so much. Like, he's always that positive guy, and it's perfect that we're talking to him on Thanksgiving because he's always
I try to be.
He's always that positive guy, and I miss that because I can tend to be a little negative. So it's
well, and when the world's going negative, it's very easy
it's
to
easy.
be negative. And
well, yeah, especially in today's, everybody's like, oh, 2020, something bad happens. It's like, fuck 2020. It can't get any worse.
Dude,
I mean,
seriously, can we stop with that shit by now? Like,
no, because the year sucks. So people are going to do it.
Everyone, like every famous person that's been like, 2020, am I right? It's like, how about famous people are going to die this year no matter what was going on? Like,
right. Everybody wanted to blame Sean Connery's death on 2020 or whatever. So
it's crazy.
I mean, granted, it has had its shittiness. There's no doubt about it. But I try to stay as positive as I can. I can only control the things I can control. And just move forward and try and take solace in the things I'm thankful for, like you guys are talking about, like having a face or having a family.
Yeah,
yeah, the 2 Fs.
Having friends.
The 3 Fs. There it is.
Having your in-laws not be hurt during their fire, like.
Oh my God, yeah. It was just one after the other, man. It was pretty crazy. But
so I think it's good to find someone who is thankful in this year because look, life is bad every year for certain people.
Yep.
And I'll be honest with you, like this is the first time that my family's gotten. I know we're not supposed to get together. We're still keeping it very low key. My mom and dad traveled down from Virginia, and then my brother and sister-in-law are coming over. But this is the first time we've done Thanksgiving as a family in 5 years. So I'm very thankful, man, that this is even a possibility considering, everything going on. So
there you go. And you've had an interesting year in the respect that you've really gotten back to. I knew you as a music guy. Back in the day, you used to play music, but then, life took a lot of twists and turns. But somehow, in the last 2 years, you've really found your way back to music, and now you've got an album out, and you got a couple other things going on. So, and I see you're even still making new.
Yeah, got your studio up and running.
So I mean, that's great, man. Is there anywhere that people can check out your music?
Absolutely. Yeah, it has been crazy. But you can check me out, jasonjonesband.com, or Instagram, Spotify, Amazon, all the streaming services. But it is Jason Jones Band, because there is like a country artist named Jason Jones as well. So one of those
that guy's the
popular
worst.
names.
Yeah, he's trying to bite off your style. Nice try.
You would think with a name like Jason Jones, no one would have that because it's such a unique name. But yet there was another talented Jason Jones out there. What are the odds?
I know, man. What are you gonna do? It's between me and the Daily Show guy, I guess.
Yeah. But the music's been going well for you?
Yeah, man. I mean, obviously there hasn't been a lot of live playing, but I'm actually on a label up there in Virginia, and I'm doing more collaborative effort with writing and with him on all the newer stuff, all the singles, and he helped me produce and finish the last album that we released a year ago, pretty much, last September. And we're just moving forward with more singles, more content. Now I got the studio set up. We're going to try and do more live streaming and be a little more engaged on the social platforms. And then, we're also shopping some songs for sync licensing, and we're kind of trying to do a little bit of everything, but just do it in a different way. And he's kind of leading the charge on this with his background in music production. And, he's a guy from California and moved to Virginia, but, he has a lot of experience in this area. So I think we're hoping it's kind of like a 3-year plan. We're kind of, the first year was kind of like put the album out, try and build a following. And now we're trying to focus on some other different aspects of it, and eventually, do some more live shows and things like that. But we're just kind of building to that point. But
how hard
it's been
is
a wild
that?
Ride.
How hard is that, trying to build a following when you can't do live shows? Because that's probably the path of least resistance to building a following if you're not Justin Bieber, who just YouTubed it.
Right. Well, I feel like, honestly, the model has changed a lot. I mean, it used to be you just play, live all the time. But that's not necessarily the best these days, for gaining a following. So we're kind of taking a whole different approach, because that's what I'd done previously, when I was pretty much like a weekend warrior, essentially, had the full-time gig going, just playing on the weekends.
Yeah. I mean, you get one good video across the world as opposed to playing in a few local clubs. I mean, you can definitely spread around.
Yeah, you can actually hit these days without being out there.
Yeah.
So in that respect, do you think it's better or worse, just kind of in the current environment where you can't go out traveling? Like, are you able to focus more on the music, or are you kind of?
Well, if I know Jason, if he's not physically out doing it, his creative juice is still going, and he's in the lab.
He doesn't stop.
Yeah,
he doesn't stop.
He's doing something.
Yeah, man. I try. It definitely helps having a set space. So that's kind of why, like, finishing the studio space was just so important. Just that, just like if you're working at home, you got to have a separate space from everything else, or it's just so hard to get things done. But I mean, honestly, I feel like it's been easier in a sense now that I have that space to be more creative and just kind of go up there and do my thing. And then, do Zoom meetings with my producer, and we'll do collaborative writing sessions, through Zoom and things like that, which is pretty cool. But,
when it keeps you from having to drive up to Virginia every time you want to have a meeting. That's kind of nice.
Exactly.
Actually.
And that's what I had been doing before all this. I'd come up like maybe once every 2 or 3 months, and, we do like 3 or 4 days of recording and writing, and then, or video or whatever we were trying to accomplish. And then
we will look back at this at some point and go, what did we do before Zoom, like in virtual meetings?
Yeah, it's going to change things considerably. Like, even in my line of work, like, I'm doing more meetings now because it's all Zoom.
Yeah.
So it's like I can knock out 10 meetings in a week when before it was like 3.
Yeah.
and it was costing thousands of dollars to fly all over the place.
Now
and
it's
do
costing dozens of
it.
dollars.
Yeah, now it's dozens of
Yeah.
dollars.
Well, I'm imagining on your end, you probably like that. I mean, I don't know, but I know you like traveling, but it probably is good, to be home too. So I don't know.
I don't think Brendan misses traveling at all.
I really don't. It's kind of nice. Like I have lunch with the kids every day. Like they're in school here, and I'm doing. It's kind of a nice break, but I also feel like it's not real. Like I just don't know how long this will last, and if this really is the future. But I do believe that things will never go back to necessarily the way they were. It's going to be somewhere in between, in the gray area between always traveling and now never traveling. It's gonna kind of net out, and that I'm hoping is one of the positives that will come from this. And to hear that you're experiencing that in an industry that is very different than the industry I'm in, it kind of gives me a little more hope that it is a little more universal, that this is happening.
Yeah, and ultimately, like in the first few years of what we're trying to do, there's really not a need to play live so much in the first year or two. So, I mean, ultimately we'll get there, but we'd like to try and build a little bit of a following first. Is kind of the goal. So it really not hurting me so much. So I'm kind of cool with it.
Yeah, exactly. Especially if the plan early on was just to kind of make the music, produce the music, get it out there, and it never really involved a touring schedule.
Yeah.
Then this kind of makes things even easier in a sense for you. Man, 2020 is great, huh?
It's not bad.
Hey, depending on how you look at it, man, it's what, like Jason said, it's what you make of it. I mean, it's not all bad for all people all the time.
No, I've had so many awesome moments this past year that I'm just not going to let this, pandemic just overshadow it, in my mind. So
some people, we all need to look. Everyone with kids should just be happy, like Brendan's touched on, and we've all gotten to spend more time with our kids. I mean, you don't get that back.
And I think ultimately everybody's realized that, for better or for worse, that they're spending more time with their kids and family, and in some cases it's worse, and which is unfortunate. But ultimately, I think, at least for my group of friends and people, it seems to have been been beneficial for everybody.
What's funny is my kids, like you always used to, when you had a little more distance from your kids, you were able to kind of craft who you are to them. You could kind of be very careful about the way you act or what you say, and they would only see this.
They just saw you in bits.
Yeah, it was this carefully crafted image, and now that is gone. Like there is no carefully crafted image coming out of me. They're like, boy, Dad sleeps later than everyone else in the family, or like, Dad can kind of sometimes be a bit of an egomaniac. Like these are like the little things that they've had to see. That I'm grateful for. Like I don't even care, because it's not like they're finding the real me and I'm Dexter. I'm not like I'm out murdering people. But it's like
Dad was my hero before 2020.
Yeah, but it's like I feel like a lot of the walls have been broken down, and they're like, no, this is me with all my imperfections and all the things that I'm really good at, and not just the carefully crafted image that I would only have to put on for the little bit of time I was there. So I've actually really enjoyed it, and I've gotten to know them. Like they can't keep up just the carefully crafted image.
Yeah,
they're like, no, sometimes this is me, and it's actually been kind of nice, because now it's almost easier because everyone's just out in the open. I know that sounds a little odd, but it's very true, for me at least.
No, I get that. That makes sense.
Yeah, it's been really cool. So in that respect, I'll say that's a positive, but. The hunkering down all the time and not going anywhere, that sucks balls.
Yeah.
And I think you guys have the worst of it up there in Virginia I'm down in South Carolina, so it's
oh really? What time is it there? That's me, Brendan, choke on his.
That's look it up. Yeah. Oh no, here it's Christmas. Damn.
Fuck.
World spins differently there. There's no doubt.
We're talking to you in the future.
That kills me. Damn.
Well, Jason, I'm glad to hear that everything is going well for you down there. We miss you up here. I know some of the listeners miss hearing you. So
I'm hoping this was a treat.
Yeah.
I was hoping this was a treat for the listeners. Just I wanted to have somebody that I think has kind of had a little bit of a thankful year, and just somebody that we haven't heard from in a while. Because, like I said, I was reminiscing. I was thinking about you today, so I hit you up earlier and was like, "Hey, man, if I call you tonight, you be willing to jump on the show?" Which I'm not. I appreciate that you did, but I'm also not shocked because I don't know how many times we called you.
Oh, he bailed us out
like,
a million times.
It was like, "Hey, man, we're doing a podcast in an hour," and you were like, "Yeah, I could be there in 45." We're like, perfect.
He bailed us so much. He bailed us out so much. He was basically just on the show. He was a member of the show for a few years there.
Oh, he has been.
Yeah.
I mean, that was what was so hard when he left.
Yeah.
I mean, it was so bad we took Stu.
That's saying something.
Just kidding, Stu.
Are we? No, we're kidding.
We
still.
are kidding. No, it's good to. But Jason laughed.
No, Jason,
hard.
come back.
Jason just spit his Appalachia wicked weed out of his nose.
Oh, my phone.
That's great.
Desperate times.
Well, man, look, I just wanted to call, like I said, wish you a happy Thanksgiving, bring you back on the phone. We do miss you, man. I'm glad to hear things are going as well as they are. What's the website again where people can find your music?
It is jasonjonesband.com.
You can go on Spotify. You can check them out there. Everybody's got Spotify these
Yeah,
days.
Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, Sonos, wherever. I'm out there. So search me and stream me and follow me. That'd be great.
Hell yeah, dude. I like it. Look, keep putting the music out there. Send our love to the family. And,
Yes.
We'll certainly be talking soon.
Oh, dude, I appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. The Joneses send their love to you guys and to everybody down there. So
Take care, buddy.
or up there, I should say. Sorry,
There
my
you
geography's off.
You sound
hey,
like Brendan.
Yeah, you don't have to tell me, man. That shit's confusing at best.
All right, guys.
Oh, yeah.
All
Double
right,
J.
brother. Later.
All right, talk to you soon. Bye.
I love having this phone in.
I know, man.
capability.
God, why did we do that earlier?
Man, I tried, man.
Now it's like I just want to start calling random people we haven't talked to in forever.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
It was so good to talk to him. I mean, I know you and I have talked to him, but like, it's just good to talk to him on the podcast again. Like you said, he was such a big part of the podcast.
For so many years.
Yeah.
Like he was the third mic.
I forgot how important, I forgot
Nah,
that he was so important and he was around
He was
so many
always
times.
here, and what people don't realize is behind the scenes
Oh, yeah.
how much he was doing and
Oh,
helping
yeah.
out. I mean, it's just good to talk to him. I'm shocked we haven't to this point. So,
Yeah.
Again, I've been having all these moments of like reflection as we're coming up on Thanksgiving and things are so weird, and to hear how positive he's viewed things, it's really a nice take to hear because I'm just like, this sucks.
He's that guy. He is that guy. He's always a happy, like, you don't see him upset. Like, he just doesn't get upset.
No, I've never seen him really
No.
upset.
No.
And I've seen him go through things that would make me lose my mind.
Oh, yeah.
And even like when he was like, yeah, man, I got hit with this fireball. He's like, yeah, he's in the hospital for a few days. He's like, yeah, I mean, I may never look right again. And he was like, but thank God I'm alive.
Yeah.
And I was like, what?
And he's like, I know I shouldn't have done it the way I did it. And you're like, he's taking ownership. Like, he's just
From
like.
day one.
Yeah.
From day one. He was like,
He's
yeah,
not
I
like,
probably
why
should've done
me,
that." There's never a why
Yeah.
me to him.
No.
It's always like, yeah, this is what's up. How can I help?
Yeah.
That's basically his attitude. We have another buddy who's he's doing a podcast. It's going to be starting soon. It's called Teach Me, Babe. And Jason actually has been working on their intro song.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so like he reached out. It's our buddy Chris, and he reached out to him and was like, "Hey, Jason, can you help me out with the theme song?" What do you think Jason's attitude was?
Of course.
I'm on it.
Yeah.
And so he's been making theme songs for him. It's wild. So it's like that's just the kind of guy he is, man.
Yeah.
He just helps out. He's a good dude. to
He
say
is
the
a good
least.
dude.
You're a
Solid
good dude. I gotta give you a shout out. You're a stand-up dude, man. You brought over something today
Oh,
that I
yeah.
have coveted for so long. And I officially know now that it doesn't work for what I wanted. But today you showed up with a Yeti bucket, dude.
Well, in all honesty, the Yeti bucket I acquired thanks to our friends at M4K. They did a raffle, and I ended up winning a Yeti bucket.
Which is the
And-
greatest bucket.
Well, it was a bourbon raffle, and you could win a bunch of bourbons, and I didn't win any of the bourbons. And then at the end, they had a couple rando things that were auctioning off, and they kept showing this like Milwaukee drill, and I won, and they were like,
That's a high end drill, dude.
yeah, it's a nice drill, but I literally have like 3 battery powered drills, and it's not like I'm a professional grade carpenter, so I didn't need it. And they were like, well, Troy, you can have the Milwaukee drill or this Yeti bucket. As soon as I saw it, I was like, I got to get the Yeti bucket. And at first I was like, well, I'm going to get the Yeti bucket and be like, hey, Brendan, look what I got. And then I was like, well, you know what? It's the season. It's the giving season.
I love it, dude.
I don't need a Yeti bucket. I don't even like them.
For the
I
record,
mean, they're cool.
I don't need a Yeti bucket.
No one needs a Yeti
Desperately
bucket.
want a
Yeah.
Yeti bucket. Like I'm over the moon. I don't even know what to do with it. Like I just want to start. I want to start filling it with stuff.
Yeah, they gave me a Yeti bucket with the lid on it and all sorts of swag in it. And
When I saw the lid, you know that lid costs almost as much as the bucket.
I know, that's insane.
Yeah, the lid costs almost as much as the bucket. It's
Well, now you have both.
I don't even know what I'm gonna do with it because originally, remember, the people who know, I had this Dakine bucket insert that turns any bucket into a cooler.
Which now I have one thanks to Joe the chef. He gave me one after hearing how much I talked about how much I like yours.
It's the greatest thing
I
ever.
still don't have a bucket for it.
So-
well, I mean, I have a
You got a
Home
bucket
Depot
coming.
bucket, but I'm not putting it in a Home Depot bucket. I'm gonna get a better bucket because you got the upgraded bucket we talked about
Yeah, because apparently the cooler doesn't fit in the bucket in the Yeti
in
bucket.
the Yeti bucket, and
So-
we tried again.
So
tonight.
now officially the Yeti bucket's here. We have the bucket cooler. We stuck it in there. It's like trying to get my dick in a condom. It's just not gonna happen.
well, and we
It took
figured
how long
out.
did it take? Hour 11.
Yeah. After you figured out too the Yeti, but we always thought the Yeti bucket was an insulated bucket like cooler thing,
Which it's not.
which is not.
It's
which
just
is
a thicker bucket.
Yeah.
So it's literally just a bucket.
It's just you could buy two $5 buckets and put them together and have the same thing. Probably be more insulated.
Actually, and it would be the same height and everything because
yep.
their Yeti bucket's taller.
Yeah.
We tried to put the cooler in. It doesn't stretch over the sides. It doesn't reach the bottom.
Yep.
It's a debacle.
Well, we have thought of something to do with that bucket.
Sit on it?
Well, you can, but we're gonna do a challenge.
Oh, we have to now because
Yeah.
now I need to know, can the Yeti bucket hold up to a standard bucket with the Dakine cooler
Yes.
insert? So I have
I'm really interested to know this.
this is the kind of science we're doing here.
Yeah.
So we're going to take that bucket, fill it with a bag of ice, and then fill the other bucket with the cooler insert with a bag of ice, and let's see
And
where
we'll drop a few room temperature beers in there.
they need to be warm too. I want them
Yeah.
to really start taxing that ice.
You know, the Yeti bucket does have the better lid, right?
Dude, the lid on that thing, like I said, the lid cost as much as the damn
Yeah.
bucket almost.
Yeah, the bucket's 40, the lid's 30.
The lid's supposed to hold 300 pounds.
Yeah.
So, like, that's awesome.
Well, and it's got like a seal on it. Like it literally like seals shut.
It should be. It's going to be interesting because I'm positive the cooler bucket, the Dakine cooler, is more insulated,
Yes.
but it's certainly not going to be airtight.
No.
And so there's something to be said for just air.
Yeah.
We shall see, man.
We'll run it back and we'll let you know.
Yeah, I'm excited to see where this nets.
Well, I'm
out,
sorry
for sure.
the bucket is sand colored, not gray, but that's what I got. So that's what you
I'm
get.
I'm more excited than I should be about this bucket. I think I'm just going to be walking around the yard with a
Just
bucket
carrying
now,
a Yeti bucket.
just all the time. People are going to be like, "Why are you carrying firewood in a bucket? You can only hold like 3 pieces of
I
wood."
do have to say, the bucket, I forget the brand that you bought for your cooler, that rope handle is better than the Yeti handle.
As soon as I touched the Yeti actually held it, I was like, "Huh, sure holds the better bucket."
Yeah.
I'm a sure hold guy. I don't know if everyone knew
Yeah.
that. But the sure hold bucket, the sure hold bucket was rated or ranked by the the Cleaning Ladies Association of America as their preferred bucket. I was like,
They would know.
who knows buckets
Yeah.
better than Cleaning Ladies?
Yeah.
So I'm all in. So I'm psyched though. But thank you for the bucket.
You're welcome, man. I mean, I was excited to win it, but I knew you would be more excited to have it. And it's the giving season. So,
'Tis the season. You're gonna see me just with a bucket.
well, I was happy because when I picked it up today, my boys were fighting. So I was like, that's it. One of them's coming with me. So I took one of them with me, and I told him what we were doing. He got all excited because he knows you and loves you, and he was like, he thought it was cool to see me get something and give it to you. Like that was a good life lesson for him.
You know how important that is for kids? I told
Yeah.
the story a few years ago where I dragged my daughter into the record store.
and
And I
you
saw
bought
that kid
yeah.
all excited about that Misfits
Yeah.
record. And I was just like, you know what? I was like, she should see this happen.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, kid, you want that? And I bought him that record. And he was excited. No, that kid doesn't know me. He'll never see
No.
me again. Kids should see that there is value in helping other people. And the kids see that when they see us doing the charity work for
Yep.
M4K. They see it when you bring a gift that you had just won and go, I know someone who wants this more.
Yeah.
And you hand it. It's like they see that, they remember that, and it makes them a little less selfish.
Yeah. I told him, I said, look, I got that $50 in the parking lot of Publix. That lady didn't know me. She did me a solid. She donated to the cause. I won a bucket. It didn't cost me anything. I'm gonna give it to someone who would appreciate it more than me. So then we're riding to the neighborhood. My buddy Stash had loaned me his his blower, his leaf blower today. So I
Yep.
blew all the leaves in my yard. So I bought him a 12-pack of Founders and a 6-pack of Coors Light just to thank him
Yeah.
for letting me use his. We were rolling out, and a few doors down from him is this guy Tyler who had donated. Tyler was the first guy to donate to my stash. Day one, he donated.
Hell
and
yeah.
and he's
the
a
man.
neighbor who's new to my neighborhood, and I just met him this past year, and he didn't have to do that, and he did. So we pulled in the driveway. He was out front with his kids, and I wanted to thank him formally. So I said, "Hey man, thanks," and we started chatting. And he's the guy who loves bourbon and loves stouts, and he's a beer nerd and a
Yeah,
bourbon
there you
nerd.
go. I like him already.
You and I have talked about, like, he's very generous, and he's like, "Hey man, you like pumpkin stouts? Because I got a bunch of pumpkin stouts here. You should take one." So he hands me. I was like, "Dude, I came over here to thank you, and you're giving me more beer after
But
you
you see-
after you gave me a $50."
But now the kid is seeing things come around, and that's the beauty of karma. And like,
So we get in the car, and my son's like, "Dad, like, you were giving this stuff away, and look, you're getting stuff." I was like, "Exactly. Like, if
that's
you
how it works.
He because he had mentioned, he was like, "What's the saying? You give, get, or something." I was like, "You get what you give." Like,
That's about right.
yeah. So it was a good afternoon for all of us. So I'm happy you're happy.
Dude, speaking of give what you get, if you have that beer, I would love to try it. But we don't have to yet.
I'm down.
I gotta give. So I had I hit people up every year for the M4K thing, right? I'm trying to get money.
Yeah, I owe you that bucket just because I've stolen your email a couple times.
Oh, that's my. I think that's the most hilarious thing. I send out these emails to people, and then Troy takes the email and he changes a couple links and sends it back out into all his people, and it works. I love it. I'm good with it. But
You're a wordsmith.
I ended up every year. My sister-in-law is one of like the top donators. She always gets behind it.
Oh, nice.
She's always like, I love that you do this. I love that you're doing charity. I would be glad to donate, right? So she hits me up every year. And I can't thank her enough. Like, she's a fantastic person. Well, then I got an email from her just this past week. And it was like, hey, she's big into the art scene. Like, she does a lot of theater productions. That's her that's her wheelhouse. I mean, she loves that stuff. And this year they can't do any of their holiday parties. They can't do any of their things.
Yeah.
This is how they raise their money. I mean,
Yeah,
this is
everything arts related goes off funds. I mean, it's
So there was nothing there. So she hits me up.
donations.
She hits me up and she's like, "Hey, we can't do any of these holiday parties this year. We're doing a fundraiser to support our local arts." And I was like, "Damn right."
Yeah.
Like, you give and you get. She's giving me the same every year. She hits me up. So it was like no questions. As soon as I saw it, I was like, hell yeah. I have no choice. You know what I mean? And not in a bad way. It's just like, I got to do this.
Yeah.
And so basically she sent me a wad of money, And then I turned around 2 weeks later and just sent that same water right back to her. I was like, there you go, tit for tat. Thank you so much. It's like, you've earned it. So what am I drinking here?
So this is,
Whoa.
like I said, my buddy Tyler is big into stouts and bourbons. And this is, he said a buddy sent this. He's from Texas. A buddy has sent this to him from Texas. This is St. Arnold, the 2020 Pumpkinator, aged in bourbon barrels. This is Imperial Pumpkin Stout brewed with pumpkin and spices. It is 12.9%. I mean, that's like a wine. It's bourbon barrel, so you know it's hot. I mean,
It's
you know
good.
it's
good.
It smells good,
No,
but I'm kind of scared to take a swig of it, honestly.
Oh, I wouldn't worry about it. I've had a sip, so I have a. That is that'll bend your knees.
Whew.
Yeah. Don't
It's got a
smoke.
lot going on.
Don't smoke a cigarette.
Don't let your mustache catch it.
Wow, that is a lot going on. Sorry, I'm having a hard time talking.
Smells delicious, though.
So what's the brewery on that? What is the name of that?
St. Arnold, patron saint of brewers, the 2020 Pumpkinator. And as you know, every year, all these pumpkin beers are different.
Yeah. Oh, you never get the same flavor profile twice. But I tell you, I got a funny feeling this one tastes a lot like it did last year because it's mostly bourbon.
Yeah.
That tastes like the one note that I can pick out.
This is out of Houston, Texas.
The one like tasting note that I can even pick out of that is brown sugar.
Yeah.
That's the one thing. There's a ton of brown sugar. I like that. It's very sweet. In that respect, it's good. But it's syrupy, bourbony.
Yeah.
Like, I love the brown sugar aspect. That's a lot of bourbon.
I've been drinking straight bourbon a lot lately, so this isn't as hot to me as normally a 12.9. And when I say hot, I mean like alcoholic, like it doesn't burn. This actually, to me, is very delicious, but to me, it's like basically pouring a bourbon 2 fingers neat. Like, you're just
I would far
like,
prefer bourbon 2 fingers neat.
you and I split one of these. Like, to me, this is a sipping beer. Like, this isn't like most beers where like you're literally throwing it back. Like, I'm just sipping on this like a whiskey, like a bourbon.
I love the brown sugar. That's what I'm going to say. That's my positive note. That's all I can give it though. After that, it's too strong.
It's a little
just
strong.
It's just too strong for me. I couldn't sit back and drink that beer. Honestly, the stink in my mouth is all brown sugar. It's amazing how good that flavor is, but it's a really strong beer.
When he gave it to me, I didn't know it was bourbon barrel. I'm not a bourbon barrel guy. I don't find.
Which is funny because I love bourbon.
I love bourbon too.
I drink bourbon on the rocks. It's usually my first drink of the night.
Yep.
It's like I like a little bourbon neat.
Yeah.
Or on the rocks. It's fantastic. I love the brown sugar of this, but it's a little too much. The pumpkin is an afterthought. Strangely, I can taste it, but it's an afterthought that's clouded by the booze and the brown sugar. To me, it's a brown sugar bourbon stout. That's what they should call it.
Yeah.
The pumpkin could be lost in there.
Yeah, if you didn't tell me it was pumpkin, I might not even know it.
No, I'd call it a brown sugar bourbon stout. And in that respect, it's good. A lot of caramel, a lot of stuff there. For me, though, it's another 2.5 because it's so strong.
Yeah.
That I'm gonna go 2.5.
I can give it a 3. I don't mind this taste, but I don't know if I drank one. One might be too much. I'm glad we split this one, honestly.
And that's why I said 2.5 because it's gonna be like I like the flavor of it.
Yeah.
I like what it's got going on, but these pumpkin stouts are so hit or miss for me.
Yeah.
That it's.
I don't know if I've ever even had one.
I'm sorry, the bourbon stouts.
Bourbon
The
stouts,
pumpkin's fine. Yeah, 2.5 for me. 3 for you.
Yeah.
We did 2 delis tonight. We did not knock it out of the
No.
park.
But I could see bourbon and stout heads liking this.
Oh, a hardcore bourbon stout guy is going to think this is fantastic because the brown sugar is phenomenal on that. And I think the pumpkin lends to that. But, yeah, it's a little much for me. But it is the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, so I feel like why shouldn't I have 2 delis and just start drunkenly calling people I know.
Yeah, I mean, why shouldn't we be drinking Miller Lite, Coors Light, bourbon stouts, nitro poured Budweisers?
This is essentially what
who
the
knows where we
Wednesday
go
before
next.
Thanksgiving is.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? I drunkenly ran into Jason Jones, talked to him for a little while.
Yep.
I talked to the Duke.
Yeah.
I drank too many beers. This is
Too
actually
many rando beers.
this is a perfect
Somebody's
Wednesday
just
before
coming up to you and
Thanksgiving.
handing you, drink this. All right, I guess I got to drink this. Like,
Yeah, in a nutshell, this is the Wednesday before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
I think we did it. I think we pulled it off.
for sure.
It could have been worse.
Could have been, and it might get worse.
It's not over.
Yeah,
I was about to say the same thing.
it will get worse.
The
If I
night
know
is-
us,
The night is young.
and we are not.
But this part of the night's over. I think I'm done
Calling
here.
it?
Yeah, I'm calling it. Look, everybody out there, I hope you all had a fantastic Thanksgiving. This will come out the day after Thanksgiving, so I hope that you are sitting back eating leftovers thinking to yourself, you know what? The year has been bad, yes. But I hope you all take a little bit of that Jason Jones attitude towards it and remember that as bad as it is, we're here and we're looking towards another good year.
Yep.
Or a better year. So
Could always be worse.
I hope you're able to find something in your Thanksgiving that gives you pause and allows you to be thankful. Because in the end, there's always something to be thankful for. I mean, in this moment, yeah, it sucked, but like I'm getting to spend more time with my kids, and I kind of like that. And there's something to be said for that. And there's been a lot of other things that have sucked, but you know, we're all in it together. So, and I thank you guys for tuning in and week out and listening to us and supporting us. And if you find it in your hearts to help out, this is the last week of M4K. You can always head over to m4krichmond.org. Donate money to the kids. The kids are innocent in this whole thing. And, you know, there's opportunities to help them in a good cause. And just know that every dollar you give, that entire dollar will end up in these worthy charities' pockets, and they can hopefully do some good for the kids.
Yeah, and usually this is the part of the show where I yell at all the listeners and tell them how much they suck. But in the spirit of the holidays, we are thankful for you guys for riding with us for the past 6 years and supporting us and supporting our sponsors when we have them and interacting. And thank you guys. I appreciate you.
I like that. You dropped a thank you.
Yeah,
It's nice.
it's that time of year.
Fucking review. There, I did it for you, Troy.
Thank you. It's the least you could do. When you're all bloated on turkey and beer and watching football, just shoot us a 5-star review while you're there.
There you go. There you go. Nah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll be talking to you next week. Cheers.
Cheers. That was a pretty good podcast, don't you think?
I agree. Mickey Thompson's off-road is probably one of the greatest video games ever. Like, for a fact. You see it in the first intros. And it was always better.
Oh, yeah.
We were tearing it up.
Oh, yeah.
If I had my brothers, it was always the blue guy.
Blue was always the best.
The blue guy?
Oh, yeah.
Come on,
Blue
see,
guy.
so I think yes. I think reduced the yellow. What was the other color?
Green.
I don't know. There was a red, there was a blue.
Why are there two yellows? That doesn't make sense. We're on our way. What you get if you ask for it.
And that's a fact.
Yeah.
But if you can't grow this year, you should grow next year.
Yes,
Like,
we
really
want you
should.
on our team.
Always.
We want this team. I want this team to be 50 people strong.
We've got the listeners.
I know.
Like, we could do that.
Yeah.
Like, that's not even a big ratio of the listeners.
No.
Like, we could do that.
Yep.
It'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah.
But it's been growing. I'm loving the way the rookies are coming up this year.
Yes.
They're kicking butt.
They are.
really
Our rookies are.
Our rookies are doing better than us tenured guys.
Yeah. Some
Now,
of them.
Some of that's because, we've lost our big donators.
Yeah.
Because they're growing. But they're making so much more money by growing.
Yes.
It's awesome.
We'll take it all day.
Absolutely. But this is your
It's only
chance.
been 8 hours, not even. 12 hours. Give me a chance.
$20 motivation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Rolled that snowball down the hill. It keeps going. I love it. If you haven't had a chance to go over to m4krichmond.org, please do so. Support the charities that we're trying to help out. There's not a charity in there that you wouldn't want to help in and of itself.
Yeah.
And that's what makes this so
And
unique.
donate to anyone. I mean, we prefer to be ICPH, but if you want to go a different team, not Balzer, we're okay with that too.
I'm sorry. I didn't see
That's
that coming.
good stuff.
That's funny.
Hey, they want to come at us, we'll come at them.
They've picked a scab, and it hurts, and I'm not happy about it.
Well, I mean, break the fourth wall. We have a lot of friends on Balzer, and it's a fun rivalry.
It is. It's a great rivalry because they're not the ones that have all these huge corporate sponsorships,
Yeah.
so they blow us out of the water. Like, they're scrappy, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're scrappy, and the two I'm up head to head with, they're beating me now.
Yep.
And 6 hours ago, I was handling the lead. I don't know how this happened. So,
But
that's
seriously,
fine.
guys out there, just take 2 seconds, $10. It goes a long ways. If you got
does.
more,
It does.
do it. We'd appreciate it. But
And go check out the charities. Like,
I was going to say,
just take it from us.
Yeah, don't. You can go to the website and just donate to the person. Read up on the charities. The website tells you all about all the charities, and it's 100%.
And look at that website that we've put together. It's a clear indication that we're not spending the money on things like websites.
Do you want the rundown again?
But we're going to be donating. I think we signed something with Children's Hospital for. We're going to give them $100,000 for the next 5 years, and they're going to name a performance center after the M4K Richmond people.
It's going to be the Mustaches for Kids
Yeah.
Auditorium. Like, I really hope that happens.
Yeah, that's going to be awesome.
Can we
Obviously-
win that and get it to the ITPH auditorium for kids?
Actually, you know what? We should just
just joking.
run another charity that will run in like June, and like maybe
Go against it.
maybe we could just like sponsor tanks and breweries. Like, this beer was brewed in the Inside the Pallet House tank.
Yeah.
You know? That one will not be as charitable, but we'll still be doing our
Yeah.
part.
We'll make it work.
Maybe a mass comm wing at VCU.
Yeah, do you want to
Yeah.
read? Did you want to read some of the
I'll
charities?
it's Ask, which is
Oh, he's got the charities. Yes, we should.
making life better for children with cancer. We've got Scan, Stop Child Abuse Now, the Children's Hospital at Richmond, at VCU, Feed More, which is we discussed that one, Cameron Gay Gallagher Foundation, which is close to my heart, talking about anxiety and teenage depression, Friends Associated for Children, which is dealing with literacy and development skills, Boys and Girls Club of Richmond, and then we got the new one, which is, or not too new, but Richmond Friends of the Homeless. And like I said, all of them are going to get 100% of your donations. It's going to be a great year, and I think we will actually. I think we can. We think we'll get. I think we're going to. We think we'll break the.
I think we're going to
368.
beat 368. I'm going to be positive. I think we're going to do it.
It's a tough year, man. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But I'll tell you what, the guys have all been motivated. Everyone's out there doing their part. It's exciting, but there's no gimmies in that. That's a lot of money, man.
With your help, we can do it.
That's true. That's true.
So
Look.
let's stay positive.
Yep. Don't forget that we do have a Venmo account. It's at Inside the Pallet House. If you want to donate money to the podcast,
That would be
don't.
great because we'll get Brendan another jacket besides his Dickies.
Dude, this jacket's dope.
If you want to donate, if you don't want to go on the website and donate, and you just want to Venmo us money,
We'll put it in there.
put it in the Venmo, and
Just
we'll
know-
swap it over, and it'll go right to Troy.
Yeah, just know that we're not, this month we're not soliciting money from you for the podcast. We don't want it. We're taking this month on the arm. This is there's bigger situations that we want to try to help out. So please.
And we've had some listeners donate. The Flores family donated. I'm sure I'm leaving a bunch off.
Screen Door Mortgage came out.
Yeah.
Jimmy in Atlanta, he came out and donated a significant amount of money to a bunch of people. Like he divided it out amongst people, and it's just
Nice.
that's awesome to see. It's been.
Oh, he did?
I don't know. I don't know who he donated to exactly. I don't know. Maybe
I don't care. That's fine.
It does get the competitive juices going, though. I understand that. Like, I'll see, like, a good friend donate to someone else, and I'll be like, huh, okay. But it's cool. It's all going to the kids. No hard feelings, no nothing. It's a good thing, man. It really is. So, yeah, so many listeners have done so many great things. So we thank you guys. We have a great great bunch of listeners that are out there. Despite what we say when we're trying to solicit reviews and things like that, you guys are awesome. You gals are awesome. Certainly appreciate the support for some of the more charitable things we do, and of course during the rest of the year for the things you do for us personally.
Yes.
So thank you guys so
Agreed.
much for tuning in. We'll be here next week. You can always reach out to us on the Facebook page, Inside the Pallet House Podcast. You can always find us on our Gmail account, which is InsideThePalletHouse@gmail.com. I just forgot I don't have the button. I got to do all this.
Production value is going through the roof.
Behind the scenes, sorry, breaking down the fourth wall. I forgot we don't have a
It's okay.
Curses. Somebody pad.
It's all good. So, I can't.
I got it. We're good. Stu, you crushed that.
You gave me so many 2 seconds to do something.
Way to get us through the weird shit. That was brilliant.
Give me 2 seconds.
So, thank you all so much for tuning in and week out, man. It really does. It does mean a lot to us that you continue to support us. If you haven't had a chance, honestly, head over to m4krichmond.org, send a donation the way. And if you want to find us on Instagram or Twitter, give us some topics, you can always do so at ITPH Podcast. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We'll be talking to you next week. Cheers.
Cheers.
Peace out.
That was a pretty good podcast, don't you think?
I do, Troy. I do.